this video, I want to go over mental principles that help me land free stays around the world as a full-time traveler, starting from 0 reviews. I'm Vivian. I spent the last 11 years solo traveling around the world, and 8 of those 11 years have been one continuous trip outside of the USA, because I'm curious to see how staying away will make me change. Much of those solo travels was on a shoestring budget, often doing free source of travel gigs, such as a work exchange in exchange for food and accommodation. My first trip all by myself was to a remote village in Kenya that had no plumbing and electricity because I was accepted to a volunteer project. On the other end of the spectrum, in very expensive countries such as Korea and Japan, I have turned to couchsurfing and had great experiences with my hosts without having to worry about the steep prices in accommodation. The first key is to be genuine and generous with your requests. When you're reaching out cold to someone who doesn't know you and you've got no reviews, it's really important to be real, especially in the age of AI or where our screens bombard us with content that's staged. It's very important to show the hosts who are getting a lot of requests that you really mean this. It would mean a lot to you to have the chance to stay with them and you're not just trying to use them for free stay. I think 5-ish sentences of you sounding very authentic is enough. Give a little bit of background about you. I used to say that I like to travel blog and backpack and hike. Send it out. Before you do, make sure you check their reviews. I think safety is very important when you're approaching anything in life, even accepting a job, but it's also really important when you're staying in someone's home, such as you do on couchsurfing. I feel like the couchsurfing platform has really changed post-COVID, but I'm still getting accepted. I went to Korea recently and had a great time with my host in Seoul, going to barbecue, finding nurunji and samgupsal, different Korean foods that were on my list, and learning about his career doing YouTube by providing updates on Mr. Beast. You always end up asking what their experience has been as a host, if they get burnt out from hosting so many strangers, which they totally do. And they're really looking for people who read their full profile. So part of being genuine is reading the full profile. Some of them have a code word that they expect you to put in your message to prove that you actually got everything they were saying. I think it's really important to show what you can offer, such as how you could make them guacamole or make them Chinese fried rice. It will really help to position yourself as someone who's not just trying to save money, who's totally willing to spend money because it's an opportunity to exchange cultures. You may go out together and you may cover the bill sometimes or show tokens of appreciation. Of course, many hosts have totally been in your shoes. If you really have nothing and you're really truly broke, I think a lot of them are on couchsurfing because they've gotten hosted around the world and they themselves have been in tight situations before. So don't hesitate to fully disclose your situation and just be very sensitive to the fact that it's not just about money on couchsurfing, it's about connection. Safety is its own whole separate thing that I'm not really going to cover, but I think it's very important, especially on couchsurfing because you're staying in someone's home. But also remember that even getting a job in a corporate office is not fully safe. Read the book Yes Means Yes. This book really covers consent and gives suggestions for specific self-defense courses you can take. Make sure you have your hotlines if anything happens, your embassy numbers as well. Start practicing in real life walking out of situations that make you uncomfortable as soon as they do. Examples might be going to the doctor or a massage. If it hurts and you feel like it's not worth staying, just leave. If you're trying to hitchhike and a driver is eyeing you in a way that's just rubbing you wrong, just say, no, I don't want to take this ride, and tell them to keep driving. Stay humble when it comes to free travel. It's easy to become quickly overconfident as you start landing opportunities and being in this community of people who are traveling the whole world on a shoestring budget. Never get too in your head that nothing will happen to you. Another mindset that is crucial for making a free travel lifestyle work is abundance over scarcity. Don't invent scenarios in your head for why you didn't get accepted by a certain host on couchsurfing or workaway. Don't feel like you got rejected. Work on any baggage you might have with rejection just because you don't hear back. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they forgot. Maybe an emergency happened on their side. See it more as a lottery that's completely emotionally neutral. Apply to many projects or hosts. If you catch yourself mind reading into why you may have not gotten accepted, give yourself a hug. One thing for sure is that farms need hands. Many farms out there accept everyone who's willing to give up their time for farm labor across the board. That includes sites like Woofing and HelpX, and you'll see that the same projects might be listed on Workaway, HelpX, and Woofing. The last one's an organic farm website. You may see a project that seems like your dream project, but please don't fixate on it. Going back to being genuine, make sure your profile reflects you as you reach out. Make sure the profile is complete in all the areas, that you filled in everything in every section, and that you have good photos of you doing what you love. The less posts you make and the more genuinely happy you are in your photos, that's really going to speak to any host. Finally, what really got me started was learning from my community. I had joined this club in university that was really into any sort of outdoor adventure. As a freshman, I had the email of a previous leader in this club. I just reached out and he was like, "Oh, I'm currently working on a farm in Costa Rica." And I was like, "What? Working on a farm in Costa Rica? That sounds amazing. I want to do that. Like, how can I get work like that and have those deep kind of experiences?" And he was like, "Oh, just make a profile, workaway.info." This community had a whole database of past budget trips that we took together. Camping trips, backpacking, international trips. So if you wanted to go anywhere, you would just copy paste the old itinerary of an old trip that had info about pricing, campsites, and everything. You would send it out to 2,000 people, and the people who wanted to go on the trip would sign up. There's no cost of anything except that you pay for your share of gas. We lived in Florida, so to get to some mountains sometimes it was like $30 of gas per person. If you drove instead of took a nap on the ride, you didn't have to pay for gas. So it's like you can pay for your nap, you can drive your car if you have a car. And so that's how, no matter what your situation was, everyone got a chance to be exposed to free kinds of adventures. And it didn't matter if you didn't have a car because someone else would. It didn't matter if you didn't have camping gear because we had a gear shed where you would just go take what you needed and then put it back after the trip. After graduation, this community spreads across the US and people stay in touch. So wherever you are, there is a community of climbers, campers, thru hikers that have the inside knowledge and are actively every weekend trying to have some sort of adventure or activity that really, really connects them to the core of nature without tourists around, without any guide, without anything artificial in front of them. After you land your first couchsurfing stays and workaway projects, ask the hosts about their experiences. My first couchsurfing host was a Chilean engineer who told me about his continuous 4-year trip throughout Southeast Asia with his girlfriend. It really inspired me. I asked him if he ever got pickpocketed, what his favorite food was in all his travels throughout Asia, and he said it was Nepali momos. So I mentally saved that and made sure to go try Nepali momos whenever I had the chance, which came about 8 years later. And just going to hostels where you're budget traveling or talking to other volunteers, when you chat with them, you hear about other opportunities that you've never thought of, such as hitchhiking sailboats. Sailboats crossing oceans always are looking for helping hands, and you'll meet a lot of people who have done that. They'll say they lived on a sailboat for a year and didn't spend money. Other side things I've heard are websites for volunteer opportunities localized to a specific country. Like there's a site for Turkish people to volunteer in Turkey. When I went to my Turkish lavender farm, I learned that from other volunteers. Some of my friends that I was locked down in India with told me about their past experiences house sitting for wealthy people in the countryside of Italy. You'll always notice that there's a lot of people at your hostel working as staff in exchange for free stays. And I think one of the coolest options is to work at a surf hostel where you may get access to free surfboards. I love to talk to my hitchhike drivers because they may have hitchhiked themselves in the past. Some of my couchsurf hosts have come from hitchhiking. They'll have picked me up and then they'll say, "Oh, whenever you make your way hitchhiking up to my city, come stay here. We're actually a host on couchsurfing." You're like pre-qualified to stay with them, and then afterwards they leave you a review as a guest and you leave them a review as a host, and slowly you start building your profiles from nothing. I hope this video helped give you some perspective on the right way to think about free travel and to stay generous even though you're taking something often for free. I really encourage you to not hesitate after you click off of this video and immediately send one request to a host on couchsurfing or workaway, or apply to one Vipassana meditation. If you enjoyed this video, I go over exactly what these ways to free travel are in this video here. It's been my most watched video to date. There's 1 or 2 methods in there that I never hear other people talk about. Go ahead and check it out, and definitely one of them will fit you the best.